Hello beautiful people. So after the recent BR changes on vehicles, especially the Flakpanzer 38 going from 2.0 to 1.7, I realized that I had overlooked that vehicle and the British T-17E2, which also sits at 1.7. I actually thought they were at rank 2 for some reason, I don't know. So with this addendum video I will correct that mistake. I'm going to look at the vehicle's protection, mobility, firepower, and of course how it all comes together in game. First up we have the Flakpanzer 38, or officially named Flakpanzer 38T auf Selbstfahrerfähre 38T Ausführung im Sonderkraftfahrzeug 140. That one. And the quick stats: country Germany, crew 2, armament 120mm cannon, armor 10mm, speed 42 km per hour or 26 miles per hour on the road. So for me personally, the BR change from 2.0 to 1.7 is a welcome one. I mean, there wasn't really any reason for it to be that high. You do have increased survivability and mobility, but the firepower and everything else is the same as the Flakpanzer 1. So it's a nice change. The gun is the same grade 1 as the Flakpanzer 1, so you get a very nice 20mm cannon and you have access to high explosive, armor piercing and HVAP ammunition. The high explosive build has a penetration of 2mm, which means you only use it against planes. Then you have the armor piercing, has a penetration of 46mm, and the best one, HVAP, has a 64mm of penetration. But it's not a pure HVAP build, it's kind of a mix between armor piercing and HVAP, so it's one of each time. Now with this gun you can actually take the Flakpanzer 38 out as a firstborn and just use it as a tank destroyer. It's very capable. The only thing you're going to have issues with is really Matildas, Valentines and the big French B1s, but you can still get a kill by just destroying the turret with the HVAP build. And I guess it's a good time as any to recite my mantra. So please do not fire at any plane until you're somewhat certain that you're actually going to hit the damn thing. Because two things will happen when you start firing. Planes will definitely notice you, and so will other enemy ground units. Everybody loves to kill SPAAGs, especially enemy fighter planes. You have to remember that you're very visible on the map once you start firing that quick firing weapon of yours, especially if you're firing, let's say, a 50 caliber, which has a rapid rate of fire and long burst potentially. So you'll see this orange stream of tracers coming up from the map, and you are so easy to spot. You can minimize that to a certain degree by not firing until you're pretty sure that you're going to hit the damn thing. So for one thing, you are preserving ammo and you are definitely increasing your survivability. Now there's two reasons for me engaging this target that high. It's a slow moving plane and I was safe pretty much at our spawn. I just spawned in. Otherwise I would have not engaged that thing. Well, and of course I'm pretty decent with these anti-aircraft vehicles. One of the big advantages on this vehicle compared to the Flakpanzer 1 is that increased mobility. I mean, you are going from 31 kilometers per hour on the Flakpanzer 1 to 42 on the Flakpanzer 38, and that's a big change actually. I mean, we're talking about 30% change or something, and you can keep up with other vehicles, and it's a huge help for you. Much bigger advantage than you would think. Now this vehicle is much larger physically compared to the Flakpanzer I, which means that the survivability is a lot bigger. You still only have 2 crew members, so if the gunner is taken out, you're done. But the engine is in the front and it's much longer, which means that there's a much bigger chance that once you get hit, they'll just either hit the engine compartment or the dead space between the driver and the gunner. The Fly Daily mantra with no armor is best armor is definitely applicable on this vehicle. And as you can see, these small clips are being pelted by machine gun fire and getting hit by some larger caliber weapons, and I'm still managing to survive them and actually getting my opponents killed at the very end. So all in all, it's a great vehicle. And here we have the second vehicle, T-17E2. Country, Britain. Crew 3, driver, gunner and commander. Armament 2 12.7mm heavy machine guns. Armor 22mm. Speed 87 km per hour, equals to about 56 miles per hour. So this British T-17E2 also sits at 1.7. It uses 2 identical 12.7mm heavy machine guns, just as the American M13. You have access to 3 different kind of rounds with this one: AP, API or APIT. You have 2,160 rounds of ammo, which is plenty, and you fire 570 rounds per minute. The turret rotation is 35 degrees a second. All 3 builds almost have the same armor penetration. The pure AP has a couple of millimeters more armor penetration with about 25, and the API and APIT is about 22 millimeters. And this BR 1.7 is still enough to kill light vehicles and some medium tanks from the front and from the side. This being a track vehicle has some pros and cons. Firstly, it's very fast. I think it's the fastest vehicle of all of them so far, with 87 kilometers per hour. But of course, it being wheeled also means that it has issues in deep snow and deep sand. And uphill, it sometimes have issues getting to places where the track vehicles would be able to get to. Being so fast means that you can quickly get to a capture point, or you can get into a flanking position and just wait until somebody drives by and you can pelt them with your heavy machine gun from the side. Talking survivability, it has 22 millimeters of armor on the hull, and it's definitely more than the Flakpanzer 38, and you have 3 crew members, so if one of them get injured, you can still swap them out. The problem here is that it's a pretty short vehicle, which means that if you get sent a shot, the chances are that at least 2 of your crew members will be taken out, and that's definitely a con. On the positive side though, the turret itself is 31 or 33 millimeters, which actually means that it's pretty decent protected and you can survive light machine gun and heavy machine gun fire. Looking at the turret, the gunner is sitting deep down in the turret, which means that only topside attacks with machine guns will actually injure him. So this is a huge upgrade from the first SPAA in the British tree, both in regard of firepower, speed and survivability. This BR does everything what a good anti-aircraft vehicle should: kill tanks and kill planes. That was it for this addendum video. So please give it a like, put down a comment if you have anything to add, or even go overboard and subscribe to my little channel. Until next time, have a good one.